At first glance, Scotland feels ancient, calm, almost timeless. But beneath its quiet valleys and rugged coastlines lies a far more violent story, one shaped by collisions powerful enough to erase mountains and rebuild the land from scratch. Every ridge, every loch, every broken shoreline carries the memory of forces that once reshaped this country completely. To understand Scotland's most famous places, we first need to understand what made them. Because once those hidden forces come into focus, the landscape stops being scenery and starts becoming a record. When continents collided. Long before Celtic cultures, medieval castles, or even human footsteps, this land was caught in a collision between ancient continents. That impact forged a mountain range higher than today's Alps, stretching across what is now northern Europe. Time did the rest. Wind, rain, ice, and shifting oceans slowly ground those peaks down. What remains are fragments, deep valleys, exposed ridges, and worn summits that still define Scotland's shape. Glaciers later moved across the land for hundreds of kilometers, carving paths that are still visible today. Even more surprising, Scotland was once far closer to the equator. The rocks beneath your feet were formed in tropical seas, desert heat, and frozen polar conditions, all preserved side by side. Few places on Earth compress such geological variety into such a small space. Ice that rebuilt a country. The most dramatic transformation came during the last ice age. Ice sheets more than a kilometer thick advanced across the land, heavy enough to crush valleys into shape. One. As they retreated, they left behind deep basins that filled with fresh water, many of Scotland's longest. Lochs began this way. The weight of the ice pushed the land downward. When it melted, the ground slowly began to rise. Again, that rebound continues today. Some coastlines are still lifting by millimeters each year, subtly reshaping beaches, rivers, and shorelines. In some places, the landscape seen today didn't exist 1,000 years ago. Scotland also exposes some of Europe's oldest surface rocks, more than 3 billion years old. These stones were already ancient before complex life appeared on Earth. A land layered with culture. Scotland's depth isn't only geological. The Picts left behind carved stones whose symbols remain unexplained, animals, patterns, and forms, found nowhere else in Celtic art. Language adds another layer. English, Scots, and Scottish Gaelic evolved here, shaped by Celtic roots. Norse settlers and Anglo-Saxon influence. In the north, place names still carry Old Norse origins, reminders that Scotland once belonged to a Viking world stretching across the Atlantic. Weather plays its own role. In some regions, traveling just 20 kilometers can mean stepping into a completely different climate. Mountains split air systems, shifting light and rain with remarkable speed. Peatlands quietly store thousands of years of climate history beneath their surface, preserving ancient plant life and even human artifacts. Nothing here exists without memory. Isle of Skye, shaped by fire and sky. Skye feels cinematic by nature. The Old Man of Storr rises sharply above the coastline, its surrounding ridges revealing sea, lochs, and volcanic rock layered together in a single view. Further along, the Quiraing unfolds like a natural amphitheater, shadows, ridges, and distant islands constantly shifting with light and cloud. In the south, the fairy pools offer clarity and contrast, cold, turquoise water flowing through stone basins beneath the Quillan Mountains. As the road leaves Skye, Scotland's blend of history and landscape becomes unmistakable. Castles, viaducts, A&D engineering. Eilean Donan Castle stands where 3 sea lochs meet, not placed for beauty, but for control. Destroyed during the Jacobite uprisings, it lay in ruins for nearly 2 centuries before being rebuilt, stone by stone. Further inland, Glenfinnan Viaduct curves gracefully across a steep glen. Built using mass concrete, revolutionary for its time, its design influenced bridges across Britain. When the steam train crosses, smoke drifts into the valley, blending movement with memory. Mountains and valleys. Ben Nevis rises as the highest point in the UK, not just a mountain, but the collapsed core of an ancient volcano. Below it, Glen Coe cuts deep through the Highlands, a glacial corridor framed by steep, commanding walls. Its beauty carries weight. In 1692, this valley witnessed one of Scotland's most tragic clan conflicts. Fog and weather still transform the scene within minutes, reinforcing how little control humans have here. Lochs and boundaries. Loch Lomond stretches for more than 30 kilometers, shifting from gentle southern shores to rugged northern slopes. It marks the transition between lowlands and highlands, a natural boundary that shaped movement, trade, and culture. Nearby, Kilchurn Castle rises beside Loch Awe, its reflection appearing and disappearing with changing water levels. Further north, Loch Ness follows a tectonic fault cutting straight through the Highlands. Its depth, dark water, and long straight shape explain why legends endured, even when silence dominates the shoreline. The High Plateau. Cairngorms National Park spreads across vast plateaus and rounded mountains, creating one of Britain's most extreme environments. Subarctic conditions support species that change color with the seasons, while ancient pine forests survive below. This is a landscape of scale, broad, open, and shaped by endurance. Remote coastlines. Ardnamurchan Peninsula feels untouched. Single-track roads wind through moorland and sea lochs toward the westernmost point of the mainland. Beneath the surface lies the remains of a massive volcanic system, visible today in unusual rock formations and basalt columns. Further north, sea caves open like natural cathedrals, carved by water and time. And beyond the moors, Sandwood Bay reveals itself, wide, pale sand facing the full power of the Atlantic. Isolation here feels intentional. Island worlds. Mull welcomes visitors with Tobermory's colorful harbor, but its interior tells a volcanic story dominated by Ben More. Nearby, Iona holds spiritual weight far greater than its size, a quiet island where early Christianity shaped Scotland's future. Further west, Harris reveals Caribbean-like beaches backed by some of the oldest rock on Earth. Traditional Harris tweed weaving continues here, protected by rules that tie craftsmanship directly to. Lewis introduces standing stones older than Stonehenge, Atlantic sculpted coastlines, and a strong Gaelic identity. Power and innovation. Stirling Castle rises over a volcanic crag, once controlling movement between highlands and lowlands. Nearby, modern Scotland reveals itself through the Kelpies and the Falkirk Wheel, monuments to engineering, balance, and reinvention. Cities of character. Edinburgh stretches across volcanic ridges, divided between medieval closes and Georgian order. Beneath its streets lie vaults and chambers, echoes of rapid expansion and hidden history. Glasgow tells a different story. Once industrial, now creative, the city blends Victorian stone with bold modern design. Music, art, and public space define its energy, carried as much by its people as its architecture. The final stronghold. Dunnottar Castle stands isolated above the North Sea, surrounded by cliffs and constant wind. Here, Scotland's crown jewels were once hidden from capture. As mist moves across stone and sea, the entire journey comes together. Geology, history, endurance, a continuous story. Scotland's landscapes may appear varied, islands, lochs, mountains, cities, but together they tell one continuous story, a land shaped by ice, fire, and time, where history is written directly into the ground. Scotland is not just old, it remembers.